Is the Illuminati good or evil? What did I just say? I said. Is the Illuminati good or evil? New message of good news from the official Illuminati website. Centuries of war, poverty, and hardship pervade the history of the human species. Savageries abound even within the borders of the world's most developed regions, leading many to wonder if the Illuminati ignores the pain of the downtrodden, or worse, if we are to blame for generations of turmoil. Is the Illuminati good or evil? Though many believe that the Illuminati wields godlike control over every aspect of this planet and can dictate societal changes on a whim, the reality is far more intricate. The human is not a machine that functions exactly as it is programmed, nor is it a slave to be forced into obedience. Every human mind is unique and entirely unduplicated, even amongst the billions of others in this universe. Every human mind desires things that are different from the next. Progress requires cooperation. To create change, unique beings with unique objectives and beliefs must forego their differences and work together for the good of all. Humans must suppress their natural defensive selfishness and aid others who appear, believe, or act in ways that are different from themselves. Unfortunately, many are only concerned with their own well-being. The greatest enemies of human progression have been humans themselves. The Illuminati was not created to force the people of this planet to do what is good for them. Our purpose is the preservation of the human species, not its comfort, nor its morality. We guide the willing to the path and point them in the direction of the light, but they cannot be forced to take a step. Only slaves are forced to obey masters, and humans are not meant to be slaves. This planet is vast and its inhabitants are many. Even the most powerful of world leaders can hardly keep their own people from self-destruction and civil unrest, leaders who are responsible for the protection of mere countries, not continents or planets. Though the Illuminati's joint power and technological developments far outweigh those held by any single leader, our organization is still bound by the physical laws of this universe. Planetary law supersedes all. One of the foundations of planetary law is order, which balances on a hair-thin platform above chaos. Imagine this world as a raft over tumultuous seas, filled with every person and creature that exists. Anything that slightly upsets the raft's equilibrium allows water to spill over the edges and onto the people inside. To stay afloat when one end begins to sink, the other end of the raft must be corrected by adding more weight, or by removing weight from the sinking end. Its balance is so fragile that even the smallest change requires redistribution of everyone aboard. Similarly, every change made on this planet, regardless of how small, comes with a price. The birth of a child in a developed country causes the death of a child in an impoverished country, whose food and resources were sold to feed the children of the developed country. The fault is not on either child. Every human who didn't rise to their defense shares the burden of blame. The human is plagued by imbalances, causing it to be selfish and violent for imaginary reasons that mean nothing to the survival of its species. The modern human has lost much of its sense of collective, alienating the individual from the flock. Many humans strive for their own success instead of the preservation of their species. Instead of focusing on their place in an ongoing evolution, they focus on temporary concerns and pleasures. Selfishness causes distrust, and distrust causes one human to provoke the suffering of another simply based on differences in belief, gender, skin color, or societal class. No other creature on this planet kills a fully functioning member of its genetic family for these reasons. No other creature declares war on itself. As with the raft on rough seas, order can only be found through balance. At this stage of its evolution, most of the human species lacks the clarity required to perform this task. They gather in packs on the raft and refuse to allow others on their side, making the weight uneven. They only see their end of the raft as it tilts, the sinking side panicking as their companions fall over the edges, the rising side celebrating as they are lifted higher from the water. Those who are sinking fail to understand that their panic is causing the deaths of their family. Those who are rising fail to understand that if the lower end goes under, so does the raft and all aboard. Those who are sinking rush to shift to the safety of the other end. Those who are rising fail to understand that there is room for all, and defend their side simply because they do not foresee the perilous results of their actions. Both sides unintentionally decide the fate of those in the middle, where the majority is gathered. Though taking no part in the fighting, they slide whichever direction the raft is sinking. These are the innocents in poverty. These are the innocents who suffer from wars. These are the innocents who wish no evil upon anyone else, who fight no battles, who welcome all into their warm circle in the safety of the center but fall overboard nonetheless due to the actions of those on the edges. These are the people the Illuminati was formed to protect. The blind are not to blame for their blindness, the passengers on the raft are not to blame for their unsteadiness. All they require is balance and a captain to ensure it. The Illuminati serves as captain of the planet that carries the human species through this universe. We are not elected by the people we represent. Our authority requires no approval from any of our constituents. We are residents of this planet who have stood up from the chaos of the raft and taken the helm simply because no one else is able or willing or skilled enough. The reasons matter little to us. We stand in defense of all sides regardless of whether they are our enemies or our allies. The result is our only concern. The survival of the human species is our only goal. Many listen and bring balance to the raft. Many others ignore our direction and fall over, pulling innocents into the sea with them and blaming us for their demise. We continue to stand, continue to lead, continue to fight for the survivors. The age of Illuminatiam is often mentioned in our testaments. This is in reference to the next stage of the human's evolution, one where all people, in all places, live in abundance. It is a society in which war has become extinct, in which divisions between humans have been abandoned to unite our species into a single collective that strives for the benefit of all. It is an understanding that there is enough room for everyone on the raft. Some may wonder why we cannot simply throw the agitators overboard to ensure the safety of masses in the center. Many of them fail to realize that they are the very people who are causing the turmoil. Even they can be changed and brought to the center. Controlling the minds and decisions of planetary leaders, a belief that is common in the oft inaccurate pop culture image of our organization, is not feasible. Not all leaders are invited to join our membership. Many lack the intelligence and integrity that we require, as evidenced by their warmongering and abuse of their people. But to throw them overboard would send countless of their citizens with them, innocents who still cling to their horrific leaders for guidance, and to whom we also have a responsibility. It is impossible to understand the full tapestry when one can only see the strings at the bottom. To provide fully transparent reasoning behind our decisions would threaten the very infrastructure of order that we have built so far, one that is incomplete, but has taken decades to construct. Though the human species as a whole is far more peaceful and in far less danger now than it was 50 or 100 or 1,000 years ago, there is still much work to be done to bring order to this planet of billions. History provides evidence of the success of our campaigns, and history will continue to show the sovereign magnificence of the human species. Fear not as the raft sways and dives across the thunderous seas. We are always watching out for you. Now listen to some soothing subliminal messages to free your mind and soul.